Again, good evening and welcome to the 72nd annual dinner of the Somerville Chamber of Commerce. Thanks for coming, and thank you to everyone for your support for the last 3 years of my chairmanship of the board. 16 years ago, I came to Somerville from rural mid-Michigan, never having set foot in Massachusetts, and not knowing a single person in the Commonwealth. I drove around the greater Boston area for a weekend and decided that Davis Square would be a good place to settle and open a financial advising practice. I immediately joined the Chamber of Commerce. I knocked on about 1,000 doors that first year, and very welcoming community, welcome business community. I had one door slammed on me that said, "Hey, we were eating dinner." I said, "I don't blame you. I probably would have slammed the door a lot more times than that." So I really appreciated that. And things have changed a lot since then. They say that change is constant, but frankly, I feel like in Somerville lately, if anything, change is accelerating. When I came here 16 years ago, Assembly Square was 45 acres of asphalt. The Green Line extension was a distant dream that nobody ever thought was going to happen. Not here yet, but we can now see it is happening. There were gang problems in East Somerville. And I thought that $650,000 for a 3-story house with a garage in Davis Square was way too expensive. Oops. Well, the Chamber, with the energy and devotion of Stephen Mackey at the helm and cooperating with City Hall and Mayor Joe Curtatone, his strong leadership, and an amazingly talented administration, working with the community, have really led quite a transformation. Along with that have been new challenges, for instance, where to house all the people that now want to live here, how to keep it affordable for the people who have been here and are now on the losing end of the supply-demand imbalance, changing demographics. When I look at the age bands for the population of Somerville, it appears that 20 to 40-year-olds are pretty close to a majority, if not already a majority, of the population of Somerville. And with that come new ideas and activism and new challenges. And we're here to work with the city and the community and the businesses to try to make the best Somerville going forward. So I'm not going to try to discuss all those things. I'm going to leave that to my successors, both this evening and going forward. And it is, with that, my great honor to pass the gavel to my successor, Winter Hill Bank's Kevin Gatlin.
Don't go anywhere. He talked about just sort of flipping the gavel up in the air and bolting out the door, but we didn't want to give him that opportunity. We want to thank you, Rod, for your 3 years of service here as our chair, and look forward to continuing to work with you, with the Chamber. We want to give you a little present as you go out the door from your current position anyway. And being a chair, we thought the most appropriate gift would be
a chair.
We thought at first perhaps we'd go with a rocking chair, but you're a little young for that yet. We want to see you work a few more gray hairs in there, and then we'll talk about the rocking chair later. But there's our the token of our appreciation for all your hard work. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right. Feeling of power now. Okay. Thank you. I want to welcome you all, follow up with what Rod had said. Thank you all for coming here this evening. It's really an honor to have been elected to the position of chair. When I look at the list of all the former chairs that have served the Chamber over the years, it's really kind of a daunting thought of trying to fill those shoes. It's not a simple thing, but it's really very flattering, so thank you. On the other hand, I did hear from the story through the nominating committee. They were trying to figure out exactly who this should be, the next person. And someone had the thought that desperate times call for desperate measures. Let's pick Kevin. So here I am. We'll see how this works out. The Chamber of Commerce has been serving the businesses of Somerville since 1946. And during that time, our the primary goal that we try to achieve is to support the businesses and promote the businesses of the city. And I think we've done a pretty darn good job overall. I want to do a particular shout out. We talk about folks and the work that they do all the time, but I don't think people completely understand how much time that Steve Mackey puts in trying to promote the businesses here in Somerville, working up at City Hall constantly to make sure that the businesses of this city have a place at the table. At the same time, Tom Bent, who heads up our Public Affairs Committee, is right there at Steve's elbow, and between the two of them, the hours that are spent is just phenomenal. I don't know when they sleep, quite frankly. It's admittedly the primary responsibility of the chamber. Is what we do, is to try to make sure that the businesses here in the city have a place at the table. But if I could just have a brief round of applause for Steve and for Tom. Along with the activities of Steve and Tom and the chamber, some other things we also do is membership services. We try to promote networking and business-to-business activities so that you can all get out there and meet other people in town, try to promote your businesses. We have our networking events 10 months out of the year, our so-called business after hours, where first Thursday of every month, we meet at a local restaurant in a very casual atmosphere so that people can just relax and get to know each other and hopefully draw some business from that. There's a lot of exchange of business cards, which is great. We have our annual golf tournament. So again, a great opportunity to entertain clients or reward your employees or what have you. We also have our website, which people may not be all that aware of. People tend to look in the website to get news and information, which we try to keep up with on a daily basis. But you can also promote your own business with our website. We're trying to make further enhancements with that so that you can do ads and get your name out there, do membership profiles we're working on at this point, so that we want you to use us to help promote your business. Lesser known activities, and something we typically don't talk about for whatever reason, is what we do in the community. One of our big events every year is the Taste of Somerville. It's a wonderful night. All the restaurants in the town come out and have their displays for us, and we gobble down lots of food and drink, and it's a wonderful, wonderful night. But what people may not realize is that a good chunk of the revenue that comes from that is donated or is part of our sponsors, co-sponsors with us, that money goes to local charities and nonprofits. And the numbers were added up recently, and over the last 10 years or so, from the Taste of Somerville, over $300,000 has found its way into local charities. You don't hear that figure too often, but it's something I think we need to mention once in a while. Also, coming up in our December after hours, we've been doing this for a number of years as well. We really put a big push on for donations for the Toys for Local Children. We first started this a number of years ago. Again, we'd have these in the local restaurants. You might have a couple of the booths that we fill up with toys, take some pictures, and that's about it. The last few years in particular, we've been filling the stage with toys, and we have van after van that hauls the toys away to bring them to the center. That's really the generosity of all of you, the members, but it's something that we spearhead, and we're trying to give back to the community. It's not just trying to push our businesses, and we're not just profit, profit, profit. We're out here to be part of the community and to promote Somerville as a whole. So I just want to make sure everyone knew that. But doing business in Somerville is a wonderful thing. It can be very challenging. There's a lot of things on the plate, as Rod had mentioned in his comments. There's a lot of changes. It seems to be accelerating, a lot of exciting things, a lot of good opportunities. But what makes it all work is you. The businesses that you operate, the services you provide, the products you produce, the revenues you generate, the jobs that you provide while you're trying to feed your families is something that you need to cheer about and feel good about and pat yourselves on the back. So I'd like to have a round of applause for you. You are every bit of the fabric of Somerville as anyone in this room or anyone out on the street. This is part of the reason people come to Somerville. So I hope you're proud of what you're doing, and I hope that you're proud to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce. I would like to take a moment here to, thank you, to recognize a few folks here that you're all very well known. Off to my left here is Mayor Emeritus Gene Brune. And also, I believe former Mayor Dorothy Kelly Gay is in the room someplace. There we are. Representative Denise Provost. There we are. Okay. The current president of the Board of Aldermen, Katiana Ballantyne. There we are. Alderman Mark Niedergang, I was talking to earlier. There we are, way over in the corner. Alderman Bill White. There we go. And I always miss somebody. Is there anyone else that I should be calling out their name? I don't want to. Okay, I hope that's it. Great. Also, I hope that you would join me in thanking the evening sponsors, East Cambridge Savings Bank for our delightful reception across the way there. And on each of the tables, you have some very lovely centerpieces. That's from Adam Dash and Associates. Thank you. So I'd like to begin the program here with our presenting sponsor from Bunker Hill Community College, and here to represent the college is John Pitcher.
Thank you, Kevin. And good evening. As Kevin said, my name is John Pitcher. I'm the Vice President for Administration and Finance at Bunker Hill Community College. That's a long title for the college's CFO. We are pleased to once again be a major sponsor of this 77th annual event and to have some time to present to you a timely and pressing initiative that we have at Bunker Hill dealing with an issue that's local, regional, and national, and I'll get to that with the video in a few minutes. First, let me introduce my colleagues who are here with me tonight. At the table I'm sitting is Jim Caniff. Jim is the provost of the college. That's the senior academic officer. Jim deals with everything faculty and students, from student services to what we teach to how the classrooms are set up. We have Marilyn Kuhar. Marilyn is the executive director of development and advancement in the BHCC Foundation. Next to her is Kathleen O'Neill. Kathleen is the director of our Single Stop program. By name, the Single Stop program is where students go who have problems and don't know where else to go. They go to Kathleen, and Kathleen will either solve their problem or find someone who will. Ron Bonney, he's president and CEO of Bonney Automotive, is here. Ron is a member of the board of directors of the Bunker Hill Community College Foundation and a former member of the board of the trustees of the college. Alice Murillo, associate provost of our Chelsea campus. We have about 2,500 students in our Chelsea campus. And most importantly, finally, Cam Du. Cam is our former student trustee. Cam is a current student at the college and very active in student affairs and in student issues. Thank you, Cam. Now, a little bit more about who we are. Bunker Hill Community College is the largest community college in Massachusetts. There are 15 community colleges. We service over 19,000 students every year. We are one of the most diverse institutions of higher education in the Commonwealth. 66% of our students are people of color. More than half of our students are female. 2/3 of our students are the first ones in their families who have ever attended college. Almost 55% of our students need and receive some sort of financial aid. We also enroll over 900 international students who come from 100 countries, speak 75 different languages. It's amazing to walk the halls of our campus and hear the languages and the noises that come at you. It is a very rich cultural environment to live in. Since the fall of 2013, 3,692 students have come from Somerville. Currently, we have 845 students enrolled, 51% of whom receive some sort of financial aid. We have 43 students from the class of 2018. We also have articulation agreements with the high schools and the technical schools for culinary, health-related, and pre-engineering. Now, let me introduce the issue that we would like you to be more aware of because it's very important to the college. The video we brought to show you is about food insecurity. Food insecurity means our students are hungry or our students don't know where their next meal may be coming from. You'll see what we learned from our students, you'll hear their voices, and then I'll talk a little bit about what steps we are taking to help our students.
On May 5th, 2017, representatives from colleges and community organizations from across the state joined Bunker Hill Community College at Voices of Hunger on campus. There, they discussed the issue of food insecurity among college students, shared approaches for helping students gain access to vital resources, and created a plan to implement institutional and policy changes to help students in need. The following voices you hear are real BHCC students.
My choices, which were so confusing, as if I should eat or if I should walk for miles to get to the next place to eat, happened for a period of several months until I was fortunate enough to come to community college, where I found resources that continue to encourage me, provide me with little bits of food and a lot of information, just enough to keep going, stay on track with my education. And part of it is being able to not worry about where I'm going to get my next meal.
I always thought I was the only one struggling. I didn't really know who to turn to, and my parents did the best they could. I'm first generation. They didn't really know how to point me in the right direction, and I just would often go without food. I became a single parent and couldn't finish school and would take classes here and there, all the while struggling to put food on the table for my kids. I think it's so important to be able to have healthy food available for students, for focus and for concentration, and just the ability to be overall healthy mentally and emotionally and physically.
Bunker Hill Community College is recognized as a leader in the fight against food insecurity. We continue to build a case for more support. The majority of BHCC students come from underserved and economically disadvantaged populations. Too often, poverty becomes an obstacle to education. A recent study revealed that 55% of BHCC students are food insecure and 18% are housing insecure. BHCC offers many programs to help the ever-increasing number of our students who struggle with food insecurity. Along with the food assistance programs, there are many other support programs that our students need. $300,000 in scholarships dispersed per year, nearly 5 times the amount from 2014, emergency assistance for unexpected financial emergencies, and textbook assistance and transportation vouchers. We are also fortunate to have the support of the BHCC Foundation, private donors, student leaders, and Senators Warren and Markey, who have urged a nationwide study of hunger on college campuses.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope that you learned a little bit more about our efforts in coming to grips with this national and local crisis. The data is conclusive on this. Hungry students don't learn. So we are really dedicating a lot of effort. The people at this table are dedicating a lot of effort to face this problem. We're excited to announce that we're building a food pantry at the college, roughly 800 square feet. It is in the construction phase, not quite fully paid for, and will be available to our students and others in the spring of 2019. The foundation and Kathleen and Ron's group have raised over $200,000 to help fund this and to help supply it with the food that it needs. And I want to say that's just a start. All those at the table are all involved with the project. If you'd like more information or how you might get involved, please come visit us. We'd welcome the conversation. Thank you.
Next, I'd welcome Steve Mackey to the stage.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, John. Bunker Hill's initiative really strikes a chord here in Somerville. I think you'll hear later on in the program a phrase, food is love. Food's very important in this community. It is something that we recognize that we might have to offer the rest of the world a long time ago, when we kind of hung our head on the idea that we could be a great dining and nightlife destination. That has really turned out in ways that we couldn't have even imagined. So food is a very important part of our lives, and it's striking to hear that students are stressed by not having proper food. So we can thank Bunker Hill for the initiative and look forward to working with them. We will be working with them in another category, which happens to be workforce development. There's a new initiative going on in the city that the Chamber, with the leadership of Tom Bent and other leaders in the business community, have helped put together with the city, with the administration, for workforce development, and we'll be working with Bunker Hill along with other institutions in the region to be a leader in that category. Before I continue, I want to point out some people that are here tonight that are a part of the Chamber's new group. The Chamber's new group is a group that gives extra funds to the organization. As you know, the organization is a volunteer business association, a voluntary business association, and the new group members give extra funds so that the Chamber can be sustained, and also to help guide the Chamber's economic development strategy. It's been the strategic committee, if you will, of the Chamber of Commerce now for over 20 years. I'd like to introduce those that are here tonight. Federal Realty's Matt Erie. Partners Healthcare, Jay Phillips. Summer Nova, Rafi Properties, familiar to you as Ames Business Park. Colin Yep. Tufts University, Rocco Dorico. And in the Holiday Inns, Jim Harvey, Luke Area. Thank you very much. I think you've heard already from our outgoing chair, the distinguished Rod Lawrence, from Kevin Gatlin. You all know we've been going through tremendous changes in Somerville and the world. More and more, the world's issues are coming to the forefront locally, and they're things that we have to respond to, whether it's the needs for food or climate, and as well, of course, as the economy. It's more important than ever that we work together, that while we might have differences, that we keep a dialogue going. In the coming year, we're going to get what we wish for. We spend a lot of time working for and wishing for the Green Line. Well, it's coming, and the construction is here. And in the process, some bridges are going to be taken down, and some traffic will be created, and some traffic congestion, most certainly. So we'll be tested in that regard. But we need to keep our sense of community and our sense of humor and our sense that we really want to get through this, because we're building a new high school. It's $256 million. We have social justice needs in the city that we'd like to meet. We need a strong economy locally to do that. We need a strong commercial tax base. So we need to work together to find out how to get there in the best way possible. The bills are starting to become due on some big ticket items in the city, and the expectation is the development will be there as well. Now, we have some key leaders in the city, of course, Mayor Curtoni and his administration, George Proakis in strategic planning. We look forward to supporting his zoning overhaul proposal, the administration's zoning overhaul proposal, and seeing that passed very soon. And we look forward to working with our state legislators and with our Board of Aldermen in terms of making progress in economic and social justice in the city of Somerville. And here we have a great friend of the chamber, a long time, just won re-election yesterday, Representative Denise Provo. We also have from the Board of Aldermen the leadership of Tatiana Ballantyne, and we're very much looking forward to working closely with her over the coming year. Tatiana, is she still? Yeah, there she is. And then key committee chairs, Alderman at Large William White. And Alderman from Ward 5, Mark Niedergang, as well. So, the work goes on, there's much to be done, there's a lot to talk about. And we look forward to changing the chamber along with the city and along with you as we all come to agreement. So I thank you all very much for being here. We're going to let you enjoy your dinner and then have the special speakers and awards right after dinner. So thank you very much for being here.
I'd like to introduce Jessica Manganello, who is with our nominations committee, is an attorney with New Leaf Legal. And Jessica, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you all for having me. It was definitely a pleasure to serve on this year's Powderhouse Awards Committee, and I'm happy to be here tonight to announce this year's awardees. I'd first like to thank my fellow members of the Powderhouse Awards Committee, Jennifer Blundell, Jim Harvey, Greg Kaczewski, and the committee chair, Jessica Braden, for their efforts on these awards. It was tough, guys. For those of you who don't know, the Chamber's Powderhouse Awards are named after Somerville's famous old powderhouse, which was an operating windmill and small business built around 1703. For tonight's recipients, when I announce your award, please come up, have your photo taken with Kevin, get a selfie. All right. And now for tonight's first award. So the first award is going to River Dog. River Dog is proud to be a local family-owned and operated business providing the highest quality services and supplies to pet lovers throughout the region. River Dog has a friendly and experienced staff that loves working with dogs. They ensure a fun, social, and safe experience for your pup. They carefully evaluate all the dogs for daycare and crate-free boarding, and they are dedicated to giving you and your dog the very best experience every day. River Dog does everything they can to make your dog's day and make your life easier. With daycare, crate-free boarding, pickups and drop-offs, training and pet supplies for dogs and cats, they have what you need for a healthy and happy pet. The 2018 Powderhouse Award for Business Neighbor of the Year is going to River Dog Daycare. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here with us tonight, but they did say thank you. They're really appreciated. I'm really appreciative. They wish they could be here. Still, shout out. I know, seriously, they should have sent a dog. All right. All right, our next award is going to Juliet. Joshua Lewis is a cook, entrepreneur, and storyteller. Katrina Jazieri, is a designer, builder, and restaurateur. And together with a dynamic crew at Juliet, they've established a national success in Union Square, being named one of the best new restaurants of the year by Bon Appetit and Restaurant of the Year by Eater Boston. This year, Juliet was jointly recognized by Restaurant Opportunities Center United and the James Beard Foundation for a commitment to raising the standards of employment for the restaurant industry nationwide. Juliet was, quote, designed with career pathways, dignity, and limitless opportunity into the foundations of the startup plan, and has shown early and significant success in paving the way to a fair compensation model while providing true step-by-step mentorship with no ceilings and equal footing for all. Not simply a beacon of opportunity, Juliet is nationally recognized as a standout cuisine and service experience. So this year's 2018 Powderhouse Award for Excellence in Dining and Nightlife goes to Juliet. All right, our next award goes to someone I'm sure all of you know, Renesa Rivera Bejosa. Renesa Rivera Bejosa, yeah? Rivera Bejosa La has served as the Chamber's clerk and is the co-host of the City Cable TV series Talking Business. Renesa's work on behalf of the Chamber has helped keep the organization on track for years. Her work with the cable television series has introduced us to all kinds of businesses and entrepreneurs across the city. She's been to every business neighborhood to discover the people and enterprises that make our economy tick and that drive our dining and nightlife scene. Renesa also brings an incredible exuberance to everything she does. She lifts everyone around her. The 2018 Powderhouse Award for Distinguished Service to the Chamber goes to Renesa Rivera Bejosa. Yeah, I do think we need another round of applause for the exuberance. Yeah. All right, so the next one is Victoria E. In 1990, 8 neighbors on Westwood Road made their first meal for the Somerville Homeless Coalition adult shelter in Davis Square. For the group of old and young, new neighbors and longtime residents, cooking a dish every month in their own homes was doable and offered a sense of community and connection. Today, Community Cooks mobilizes individuals, businesses, civic, educational, and faith-based groups to prepare home-cooked food for vulnerable populations seeking assistance from human service agencies in the greater Boston area. 8 neighbors are now 900 plus volunteers from 61 Boston area cities and towns, supporting 47 direct service partner agencies, preparing and delivering meals that serve more than 4,600 people every month. Community Cooks feed our hungry neighbors and build a bridge of caring between volunteers and community members in need. The 2018 Powderhouse Award for Distinguished Service to Greater Boston goes to Victoria E. of Community Cooks.
Quick word. I just have to grab the stage and accept this award in the name of all the hundreds of neighbors, Somerville neighbors, and the many businesses who have supported and built Community Cooks. It's not the work of one person, it's the work of hundreds. Thank you.
All right, next up, Somerville Media Center. Yeah. Somerville Media Center operates SCAT Channel 3 and is the oldest media access center in Massachusetts. SMC boasts Dead Air Live, the longest running access program in the world, since 1972. Besides providing a TV channel for residents, SMC operates an internet radio station called Boston Free Radio and serves the community through production of public service announcements, various staff-facilitated programs, including the Community Journalism Program, Somerville Neighborhood News, and coverage of community events, meetings, and political forums. SMC provides free meeting space for community groups, posts community messages, provides video training and mentoring, offers access to high-quality digital equipment and facilities, and operates an art gallery for local artists. The channel is well-stocked with a wide variety of member-produced programs in many languages and cablecast free speech TV programs. Somerville Media Center is a vibrant electronic media makerspace that exists to foster creativity, innovation, and community expression through training, production resources, and global distribution. The 2018 Powderhouse Award for Nonprofit of the Year goes to Somerville Media Center. All right. All right, Autonomous Marine Systems. Autonomous Marine Systems is a marine data services company based out of Greentown Labs that has developed the world's first self-riding catamaran. The Datamaran is a wind and solar-powered autonomous surface drone. Using fleets of Datamarans, AMS collects and transmits hydrographic data across the surface. Given the incredible advancements the offshore wind market is making in Massachusetts, AMS will be well positioned to help support that industry's growth here in the Commonwealth. The Datamaran offers a combination of cost savings, performance, reliability, and networking capabilities unmatched by any other vehicle on the planet. The 2018 Powderhouse Award for Green Business of the Year goes to Autonomous Marine Systems. Also, I think I should get a shout out. That was a mouthful. Sorry. Hydrographic data? Like, come on. I did a good job. All right, the next award, Parkour Generations. Parkour is about traversing a complex environment quickly and efficiently. Running, climbing, crawling, rolling, swinging, vaulting, and jumping. Parkour can be practiced alone or with others. Lifelong Somerville resident Blake Evett has been teaching parkour around the world since 2010. He studied parkour as a sport discipline within different cultural contexts and how it can be used as an agent for positive social change. He's established lines of communication and cooperation between parkour groups in different countries and regions across the world. And he has helped introduce regular classes that take place all over Greater Boston for a wide variety of demographics, fitness backgrounds, and experience levels, as well as numerous community collaborations. Parkour Generations Americas is dedicated to spreading the practice of parkour along with the philosophy of the sport discipline and as created by the original French founders. Parkour Generation Americans continues the tradition of high standards of excellence in parkour teaching, performance, and design started by Parkour Generations. The 2018 Powderhouse Award for Small Business of the Year goes to Parkour Generations. I think you should have jumped up. And last but not least, he worked for over 30 years with the Somerville School Department or city government. He was a teacher at the Western Junior High School, Somerville Trade, and Somerville High School. He served as vice headmaster and headmaster of SHS. He served as the purchasing director for the city of Somerville and later the administrative assistant to then Mayor Michael Capiano. His committee and community involvement included PTSA Council Long Range Planning Committee, Powderhouse Community School PTA, Conwell School Reuse Committee, Somerville High School Scholarship Foundation, CTE Advisory Board, SHS Building Committee, Somerville Kiwanis Club, City Charter Committee, Caspar Center Relocation Committee, and the Opioid Task Force. An extraordinary person, educator, and public servant, the 2018 Powderhouse Award for Excellence in Public Service goes to Tony Ciccarello. I'm sorry, Tony wasn't able to join us tonight, but he extended his thanks and his sincere gratitude. He wishes he could be here. All right. Back to Kevin.
Thank you, Jessica. One more round of applause for all of our recipients. Thank you. Before I go any further, earlier I always say we always miss somebody. Earlier, we were pointing out the folks in the new group, and there's a big player that we overlooked. My apologies. Greg Karcheski from US2. Where are you, Greg? Thank you. I was going to introduce Somerville's mayor, Mayor Joe Curtatone.
Wow. Thank you, Kevin. This is time just right, because as soon as my remarks are done, I'm going to introduce my dear friend, the state treasurer of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Ms. Deb Goldberg, who just arrived. Let's give her a warm welcome. Somerville. Well, I hope we've all recovered from the anticipation and hard work of another critical election. It seems like every election is, and it is, they all are important. And I want to really thank all of you who participated, whether you voted, whether you're a candidate, whether you supported a candidate cause, no matter where you stood on the political spectrum, the fact that your ideals are part of that political process are important. At a time when our democracy is under assault and being dismantled or attempts to dismantle it, this is when we need to double down on those values. And I think you saw that in display across the country, in this Commonwealth, and in Somerville yesterday. I want to thank Kevin and Steve Mackey and the Somerville Chamber of Commerce for once again hosting this dinner, and also inviting me to be part of the celebration again this year. I want to congratulate all the award recipients and those receiving recognition. I do want to mention one in particular in a second. Again, also to our treasurer who was reelected yesterday. We look forward to continuing working with all our elected officials and here in Somerville and across the Commonwealth moving forward. Last year I joined you all here following a municipal election. And so it seems only fitting that we're here once again the day after another important midterm. And again, Steve, maybe we might want to change the date. I don't know, but it's okay. It may sound like a broken record, but when I stand before you, but here at the annual business town meeting, when I talk about the growth that we continue to experience in our economic tax base or the growth in our business community overall, but that's a record I'm going to be proud, and a record I'll listen to over and over again, because it means that Somerville and our business community are thriving. There's a lot of vibrancy in this room. There's an incredible amount of activity and vibrancy in every neighborhood and across Somerville. Somerville is indeed a hotbed for development and new business, both large and small. People obviously want to live in our community. People want to work here. People want to visit our fair city. People want to raise their family, and they want to send their kids to school here. Somerville has become a really regional, I'd submit, a national destinations. We have welcomed nearly 500 new businesses in just the last 5 years. And between 2011 and 2017, we added 6,595 new jobs, contributing to the fact that Somerville has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the Commonwealth. But that doesn't signify that we don't have a lot more work to do. As you know, we have a robust plan for workforce development to prepare Somerville job seekers for the new things, that next great thing that comes to Somerville, and all the possibilities and opportunities open to them right here within our borders. We are thinking locally about how a small city like Somerville, that's part of a larger metro region, can really take responsibility and ownership for its workforce. How it can attract more resources and create sustainable, effective, and resilient workforce and through training delivery systems. To that end, we recently released our Talent Equity Playbook, the city's first workforce development strategic plan that breaks new ground with strategies aimed at preparing workings for a future of technological disruption. Soon, we'll also be announcing grant awards to organizations that teach digital literacy classes to Somerville residents in order to rebuild access to technology and improve skills that are so necessary to daily life and to be part of that new and expanding global economy. And in the very near future, we'll have new resources available to invest in our workforce needs as our Jobs Linkage Trust Fund is set up, and we received the first deposit into the fund from Phillips, which is now going to be located in Somerville and Cambridge at Cambridge Crossing. And you see that beautiful building going up. You know, for decades, we've talked about making Somerville a regional destination. Through SummerVision, our comprehensive plan, our community's values stated clearly for everyone to see, and the progress we're making toward that community goal, that is starting to become a reality. If you need further proof than our growing tax base and our continually stellar rating by local bond rating agencies, let me just remind you that Somerville was among only a few national finalists for the new Amazon HQ2 headquarters, based on a proposal that Somerville is the incentive. Now, honestly, I'm fine they picked somewhere else. I'm probably glad they did. But we could not, for years, be part of that dialogue and that conversation. And the Amazon on the Orange Line proposal put forth by Somerville for the region resonated, not just with Amazon, the fact that we were being finalists, but with other developers, investors, industries that are now seeking to be part of that very corridor. And that approach of connecting diverse, talented workforce and neighborhoods in the inner core of Boston to this incredibly dynamic changing corridor. Because whether it was Amazon or someone else, those holes, that area is being filled from Assembly to North Station to Brick Bottom in the Belt, Cambridge Crossing. We are now part of that national and international narrative. The Wall Street Journal announced this week now that Amazon is seriously considering 2 locations in New York and Virginia, and you've probably seen that. But as the Boston Globe pointed out early this year, even if Somerville isn't the final choice, the MBTA Orange Line corridor is already set to emerge as a major office district that could bring thousands of new jobs and employees to the region. They're right, and it is. And we figured that out a long time ago with many of you and activists in our city, which was why it was critical to bring the Orange Line T station, the first in 27 years, the first new transit node in 27 years in the Commonwealth, to Assembly Square, because we knew if we didn't, we couldn't unlock that potential, which is why we fought for generations and put $50 million on the table, along with Cambridge's 25, to make sure the Green Line extension is built and it's under construction. 2 years from now, 2 years from right now, we'll be testing cars on the new Green Line extension and open by spring 2021. That's impressive. And the larger businesses already see that potential, and some of us started to relocate their headquarters here. And last year, as you know, actually a couple of years ago, we welcomed Partners Healthcare to Assembly Row along with 4,500 employees. And they've been an incredible partner to this community. Earlier this year, we announced that Philips will move their North American headquarters to Cambridge Crossing in Somerville and Cambridge. Philips will bring in approximately 2,000 employees into a state-of-the-art 370,000 square foot commercial building, again, on the border. The move cements Somerville's growing destination for office and life science companies and brings into Somerville, will become one of our top 5 private employers and brings a much needed expansion of our commercial tax base. And we see that progress continuing. In Union Square, we made progress towards that redevelopment. Major infrastructure work is underway in the square, both addressing long-needed city improvements and setting the stage for transformative development in Union Square and Boynton Yards. And let me tell you, folks, we're doing 50 years worth of infrastructure improvements in the next 5. That is no joke. That's challenging, but it is critical because all the growth, all our goals around sustainability, around workforce improvement, job expansion, open space expansion, housing, sustainability, infrastructure sews it all together. And we've got it down. And we brought in hundreds of millions of dollars as a community to get it done. And with the help of the chamber and people like Tom Bend, who sit in the MPO, and activists and advocates across the city, we're finally reaching those goals. US2 is now in the design and site plan review phase and will soon present their application to the Somerville Planning Board. It's expected that their first phase of work will break ground in the spring of 2019 with a new commercial lab building and a residential tower. Over at Assembly Row, if you haven't heard, the next 2 buildings are going up. Blocks 5A and 6 are now complete and ready to go, their plans. The Row Hotel is now open. I don't know if you know this, but I believe, Steve, you probably got the history down. This hotel, from 1970 until about 1999, Dot, when you and me and we opened up the Tage Inn, was the only hotel in Somerville. That's after several attempts to burn down the one in Davis Square. I think after the 5th it went down. Right now, folks, we're building 6 new hotels. They're either under construction or been approved. We'll be breaking ground, 6 new hotels. And the next 24 months in Somerville, 10 major vertical buildings will come out of the ground and be completed. From Assembly to Boynton Yards to Union Square, right along this corridor that we're standing in now. That is unprecedented. That it hadn't happened in the previous 100 years. We're really excited. Somerville's second, again, full-service hotel, I should say third, but in Assembly boasts 170 rooms and beautiful conference facilities. The hotel really far exceeds the loyalty expectations just 3 months after opening. The condominium units that are now built at Alloy, including 17 affordable, and the restaurants that are opening are doing quite well. Across the street on Block 6, Montage is just about fully leased. It's 447 apartments. At Assembly Row alone, there are currently 6,500 employees, including partners, and a whole host of new tenants that open their doors this year with more to come. Our commitment to delivering on our goals for residents, for businesses, remains strong and steadfast. But we know there's still plenty to do. We know that even during times of economic prosperity, the challenges of prosperity impact all of us. And we are committed to making sure that everyone has an authentic opportunity to rent or buy a home here, to start or sustain a business here, or to find a job here, if this is the community they want to be in. If we can't do that and are not committed to do that, then everything we've done, all our efforts, all our advocacy for years is for naught. That has to be our number one priority. If you want this to be your home, you deserve it. You should be here. And we're committed to getting that done. The Board of Aldermen understands this commitment. The Board of Aldermen is working intensely, almost on a nightly basis, to pass the zoning overhaul, which will accomplish many of our summer vision goals. There's been public hearings held and more to come. Public comments are being accepted through the December 13th of this year. So if you still have thoughts or suggestions, and we have welcomed the Chamber's comments and many of your comments throughout the process, or your suggestions, anything that helps to strengthen the proposal, we welcome them. Remember to visit somervillezoning.com to submit your comments within the next month. It is critical. On this and so many other initiatives, the support, input, and work of our business community, really all of you, is what makes Somerville so special. And the advocacy and activism of so many people who just live here and want to make Somerville the community they envision. I can't thank each of you enough for your partnership and your dedication to this great community. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you. It's an honor every year. It's especially for me this year because you're awarding a Lifetime Achievement Award to a dear friend of mine, Jack Connolly. I started serving in public office 23 years ago as an alderman and an alderman at large. I was green. I had bold ideas, crazy ideas, and I still do. But there were a few people who helped me get anchored and grounded and who I relied on because of their expertise, because of who they were personally, because of their values, which I think embody the values of the community. And I know there'll be a more formal presentation, but I want to thank one of my mentors, and he's a dear friend of mine. Taught me a lot about being a public official. Taught me a lot about, what it'll be to be a father. And there's no better example of a father, of a family man, than Jack Connolly. And I tell you, I remember him as a young kid in Somerville High. I remember him champion the cause against corruption in the city, champion many progressive causes. When you're in office as long as Jack has been, a couple of times, Jack, was that sometimes, people lose context or perspective of what people have done. I will tell you this city will never forget what you've done for regular folks, for our neighborhoods, for other public officials. You've been a model and example. I commend you, and I thank you very much. Congratulations, Jack. So I've talked long enough. I do want to take this chance to introduce another dear friend of mine. She is one of the most dynamic, most progressive leaders in this Commonwealth and in the country. I remember her, and I met her when she was a select woman in the town of Brookline. We got to be good friends, and she's been a supporter, and I have of hers. But I'll tell you, as treasurer, she's been outstanding. Her commitment to communities, her commitment to local banks and reinvestment in our communities. I want to thank her personally for following through on your predecessor's commitment to make sure Somerville High School got its necessary funding from the Massachusetts School Building Authority. I want to congratulate you on your reelection, well-deserved. And I look forward to working with you. We all do for the next 2 years. Please welcome next 4. How the hell did you get away with that? 4, my apology. 4, or as long as you want. Well, now that you're there 4, we have a couple of other projects we want to talk to you about. But please join me in welcoming to the stage, fresh off her successful re-election bid, the state treasurer for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Deborah Goldberg.
Thank you so much. The last time my head saw a pillow was on Sunday night, and my staff said to me, "Did you really tell the mayor that you would come to the chamber dinner on Wednesday night?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "What were you thinking?" And I said to him, I said, "I'm either going to talk about how great it was to serve for 4 years and the tears will be rolling down my face, or I'll be incoherent, one or the other." But I am here, I can't promise what I'm going to say. Oh, I already dropped a pen. But I am absolutely thrilled and honored by my reelection last night. My dad, thank you. My dad, he was sitting with the two people that were getting all the numbers in. He's going to be 89 in about 2 months exactly. And he kept on saying they were pulling in Plymouth. Now, I can tell you 4 years ago, I did not win Plymouth. And I won, and as I won every single precinct in Plymouth, he said, you know, she might actually win. So I'll share a little bit with you before I talk more about the treasurer's office, because it's an emotional time. You know, you put yourself out there. I come from local politics. Dorothy Kelly Gay and I used to talk about the rubber hitting the road together. I think I see you. I thought I saw you over there. Oh, you just left? Come back. But you know, this is about public service. It's, you know, we hear people use those words very lightly. But, you know, I decided to run for treasurer at 60 years old. And it was because of the values that my parents instilled in me. It was because of the values of wanting to sincerely and fundamentally make a difference in people's lives all over Massachusetts. Some of you may know, some of you may not. You know, we were in the supermarket business. In fact, one of them was right down the street. I think there was a Bradley's next to it. It was Stop and Shop. And when my mother's great-great-grandmother opened our first store in the North End, on the corner of Prince and Salem Streets, at the very same time, she and the ladies in the neighborhood started a home for the elderly. And anyone they knew who showed up was given a roof over their heads and a job. And the families together grew Stop and Shop. And Stop and Shop represented jobs for generations that worked together at a time. I was brought up to do that. And so when we went through a hostile takeover in 1988 and we were pushed out because we wouldn't fire our people, I looked for my path, because my path was to walk in all of those generations before me's footsteps. And this job has given me the most incredible opportunity. And everyone who works for me in our offices make a meaningful difference in people's lives. And so it's because of all of you. And it's because of all those people who went to the polls yesterday, and every person who held a sign, and every person who made a phone call, and every mayor that endorsed me, Mr. Mayor. I have to tell you, just as an aside, in my religion, 18 means life, and 18 is a very important symbol. 36 mayors, that's double high. So, and, thank you. I want to say thank you. I really do. Thank you to all of you. This is my applause for you. So, getting down to business, I am a business person. I'll always be a grocer. And so, of course, I tell our folks that they're in the customer service business. And everything that we do is with an eye of how do we relate to every community in the state? How do we take care of every man, woman, child, veteran, senior? How do we get these things done? And typically, if I go on Dan Ray's show or on some talk show, the very first thing that comes up is the lottery. And so for those of you who don't know, and I've got to think you're a pretty active community, so you do know that it's the only source of unrestricted local aid in the state. And when times are getting tougher and budgets are going up, and I was a local elected official, and I knew as all my other things went up, if we got hit with a storm we weren't counting on, thank God for the lottery. And so my mission when I got into office was, how do we modernize the lottery and make it more effective? How do we market better? How do we rationalize business operations with the understanding that the lottery is an extremely mature business and hasn't changed at all? And so consequently, I set a goal for myself. All business people have sales goals and profit goals. So my goal was to have the highest profit in the history of the lottery. And so therefore, in the 4 years that I've been there, we've had record sales annually, and we broke the $1 billion mark and had the highest profit yet in the history of the lottery. Now, how did we do that? We rationalized business operations. I literally now this is where the grocer comes in, literally got into how we fixed our sales routes to save gasoline, how we worked one-on-one with our agents, our retail agents, to help them market better, how we created marketing tools that were better. And also, we have replaced all of those big blue boxes. And I can tell you, 2 and 3 weeks ago, with that Mega Millions and that Powerball, with lines out the doors, there is no way that we would have been able to keep up with that, with those old blue boxes that used to jam. Let me tell you, those were over 20 years old. There isn't any country in the world that we could have sold them to if we even wanted to give them away. And I used to call the repair folks, the tech folks, MacGyvers, because I couldn't figure out what chewing gum they kept those machines together with. But we now have flat screens, touch screens, that give us instantaneous information from any point in the state. We now can market different products to different areas. And really, why is this important? Why is this exciting? Because local budgets aren't going to get smaller, and local communities need this kind of support. And so when I talk to all my lottery people, and 400 of my 800 employees work for the Massachusetts State Lottery, I explain to them, you work in a mission-driven organization. When we say profit, we mean crossing guards. When we say profit, we mean a nurse that can go around the different elementary schools. And when we mean profit, we literally mean being able to plow the road and then be able to go and pick up the garbage the next day. And that is what the Massachusetts Lottery accomplishes, and that's what we hope to be able to do for many, many more years. Now, the world out there is getting more complicated. We have that large building that's opening up down the road, that with a casino. We have sports betting that I know that the legislature is probably going to take up in the next session. There is a lot of competition, but I want all of you to remember, the lottery is about you. It's not a profit business. Sports betting and the like are trying to build businesses so they can sell them and move on. We are here, we know what our mission is, and this is what makes the lottery tick. So we are hoping to be able to modernize even further as the years go along, but please know that we are committed to our local communities. And that is with respect to the schools, Mr. Mayor. The most important thing about the Massachusetts School Building Authority isn't that it's bricks and mortar, that it's air conditioning units and windows. It's what happens inside those buildings. We need to make a major commitment to every child in this state that we are going to provide the environments for them, because for so many of them, it is the skills that they need. It is the skills that they need in order to succeed and have good paying jobs so they can afford to live in Massachusetts. Every one of you here in this room knows how extraordinarily complicated and financially demanding it is to live here. But what I can tell you is we did a job study in the last couple years. There are good paying jobs and they are growing, but we are a skills-based economy. And so we need to give these kids in every community, and I am thrilled about the Somerville project that we're doing together. Those kids' lives will change forever because it will provide the flexible workspaces, the science labs, the technology, the collaborative workspaces that are going to help these kids on their path. But it's also why in my Office of Economic Empowerment, which is the first of its kind in the country that we started, and why I have done so much work around college savings and savings for vocational and technical training. When I ran 4 years ago, I said we would create a college savings plan for kindergartners at no cost to the taxpayer. And so we created our pilot program, and we used the city of Worcester, central part of the state, so much diversity, so many different partners to work with, affinity groups, church groups, colleges, universities, and everybody, the Chamber of Commerce there, and everybody had buy-in on it. We have been doing our pilot for 2.5 years. Munson, by the way, came along and asked us to do it there. So we were able to do a suburban community, one that was much more monolithic, but gave us that understanding of how that would work. Inversant, a nonprofit, came to the Massachusetts Senate and said, we will seed college savings accounts for middle schoolers in 5 working cities in the state. If you folks will do it. And they said, we will do it. And we took that on. So the amount of pilot work that we've had going on in the last 3 years has informed our ability and formed our capacity. And we are so thrilled to announce that in January 2020, we will be giving every child born in Massachusetts at birth within the first year of their life or adopted in Massachusetts a seeded college savings account, also for vocational or technical training, and it wraps financial literacy services around the child and their family. And thank you. All the statistics show that you create aspiration for higher education, that you teach savings, you teach banking, you help people understand the financial ramifications of their decision making, and these kids are far more likely to complete school in a shorter period of time with much less debt, if any at all. And that is what we need here in Massachusetts. We need the skilled workforce. We need people not to be in debt because it crushes them and their families. And we need to be able to provide opportunity. So this gives you an example of how different areas of the Treasurer's Office all work together towards the same mission. And it's just a flavor of what we do. It's getting late, I know. You've had your dinner, and we have exciting people who've gotten wonderful awards. So I'm not going to talk about debt management. Unless you all need a pillow and you want to go to sleep. What I can tell you, because I would be remiss, this is a mantra with me. It started when I ran the audit committee in the town of Brookline, and I was chairman of the board, that we do nothing that harms the bond rating. And so in Massachusetts, as your treasurer, and even prior to then, I speak a great deal about how much we need to make sure we replenish the rainy day fund. But I do that for all of you, because I want to make sure that we have the resources in order to issue the kind of bonds. You heard the mayor talking about capital projects, about things that need to get done. Well, guess who raises the money for that? I do. Or your clean water, which is such a phenomenal program. I know it sounds boring about leaded pipes, but not after Flint, Michigan, it doesn't. And so what we did for the last 2 years has provided the resources to test all of those water fountains in schools. And now and give loans to make, and sometimes zero interest loans, providing the resources right up front to replace those pipes. And we're doing that with local communities, and we will be offering a program in the next year to help homeowners with that. Why? Because that's what we do in the treasurer's office. We are focused on the economic well-being, we are focused on the economic empowerment, and we are focused on the health and welfare of every single person here. So whether it was through veterans benefits and working with the legislature to expand the kind of benefits that we can bring to veterans when they come home, including more and more tours through the BRAVE Act, or whether it was instituting financial literacy programs, we call it Operation Moneywise, for veterans all over the state where they live, where military families live, because these folks face very tough financial hardships. Sometimes you have two people, a husband and a wife who are both in the service, on low incomes, trying to take care of a family. And what a lot of you would never know is if the family or any of these individuals go into personal bankruptcy, they lose their security clearance. So they lose their lifeline, they lose their jobs. And so we've taken these financial literacy programs all over the state and are working with veterans everywhere. Our Women's Empowerment Series, #JustAsk, statewide salary negotiation workshops, because we have led from day one on wage equality. And wage equality is not a woman's issue. It is a family issue, and it is an economic issue for our state. So when I say we led from day one, we came in and I audited the 800 jobs within my office. Equalized pay, changed job classification descriptions, and that was for women and people of color, because both existed. And so that we did it at home, and then rather taking a stick to businesses and going, you bad businesses, you need to do this, we created a downloadable toolkit that you can get on our website, equalpayma.com, that explains why this is good for businesses. Not because it's a social good per se, although I want all of our customers to have cash in their pockets, be able to spend, but we have the data, we have the statistics that show that businesses that adopt these principles are ultimately more creative, more innovative, have greater longevity of employees' time. You should see my turnover is practically nil because of the kind of HR policies we have, because we combined all these things with 12 weeks paid parental leave for men, women, foster care, adoption, biological, you name it. And so consequently, these businesses are more, I love this line, profitable. And so we have that on our website, and we offer it to people as a guide, as a way to understand the issue and understand why it is a good, fundamentally a good business principle. So I'm going to stop there because I know we are going to take photos and recognize all of the great honorees, are we not? And there's so much more I could talk about. Bottom line is, Treasurer's office is one of the most exciting offices in state government. We have 12 departments. You didn't hear about unclaimed property, although I will tell you, check the list. And if you haven't, and you find something, you will love me just like all my friends that I call, because I do read it. Because I like getting that kind of acclaim from people. Oh my God, Deb, you just found me $20,000. True stories. So we do a lot of different things, but there is a commonality in that every one of the areas in my office feels the way I do, that we work for everyone that's out there. That's why we get up in the morning. That's why I'm grateful to all of you for giving me 4 more years so that I can see that seeded college savings account come to fruition, that I can meet those babies that we're going to be able to help, that we can help more and more women, more small businesses. What we really aim for is to be a source that creates economic stability and economic security for everyone in this state. So thank you for having me. I am thrilled I came tonight. I can sleep when I get home later. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Goldberg. Okay, now, Jack Connolly. What we've all been waiting for. This is a presentation of the John W. Fitzgerald Award. Jack Connolly is president and owner of Wedgwood Crane and Connolly. A lifelong Somerville resident, he is a husband and proud father of 3 daughters. Jack is a Boston College graduate and holds the distinction of being the longest-serving alderman in Somerville history. Along with offering a variety of insurance lines, Jack has always exhibited an incredible devotion to Somerville and Davis Square, supporting the schools, organizing road races, helping out with the Irish Film Festival or the Davis Square Task Force are just a few of the examples that go on top of a public service career that helped bring the Red Line, Orange Line, and Green Line here along with a new high school. Here's a brief video that tells the story.
Jack is the most loyal person that you'd ever want to know.
Reliable, sensible, and practical.
He's got this vivacious personality that will always be there with a smile and a helping hand.
Once he gets a hold of an idea or a thought, he just never lets it go. And I think that's one of the attributes that I love about Jack. He has a tenacity and a drive that is just incredible.
Jack has dedicated his life. He's a proud, as he likes to call them, Somervillians. He's a proud Somervillian who really wears his heart on his sleeve when it comes to Somerville. He's very proud of the fact that he has grown up here, he lives here currently, and he works here.
Jack has served the city for decades.
Jack worked with me during the 10 years that I was mayor. Going back to the 80s, his efforts in helping me bring the Red Line at the Davis Square, revitalize Davis Square.
We can both recall when the train ran through Davis Square. We can recall vacant storefronts, but by his collaboration and working with the businesses, he's now helped in the success of the city and really brought those businesses back in and made Davis Square a go-to place.
I know that one of the things that's very important to him is not just to have Somerville as a transient city, but more that people will come and invest time and energy and grow the city and stay.
When it came time to vote, he would always think about what is best for the community, not what is best for his political career, and that's Jack.
To the business community, Jack has always had an open ear, and he's fair and he's balanced. He would always work with the small businesses and the business community.
He's always there to help new businesses, to help open doors. He's always there to push support towards these businesses.
His job isn't done yet.
Don't be surprised to see Jack run for political office again. He's not one to take defeat lightly.
I think Jack will always stay connected, because if you have a passion for something that you do, and Jack has evidenced what his passion is, and that passion is to make sure that the city of Somerville succeeds.
He has invested a lot of time and energy in the city through his business and also through his civic duty. So I feel that if there's one person in Somerville that should get this award, it's Jack Connolly.
Jack, congratulations. I can't think of a more worthy recipient of this award.
My friend, congratulations. I hope you enjoy this evening. It is well deserved.
I can't thank you enough, and I can't think of a better recipient for this award. And I don't think it's just for you, I think it's for all of your family as well, the ladies sitting around you tonight. So congratulations from all the ladies of the Irish Film Festival, and we know that there's many more achievement awards in your future.
Jack, I want to congratulate you on this great honor that the Chamber of Commerce is given you this evening. You certainly deserve it with all the 20-plus years that you have served in our city, and you served with honesty and integrity. And for that, I thank you.
The 2018 John W. Fitzgerald Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Jack Connolly. That ain't gonna happen.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lynch, for that quick little prompt. Secretary, thank you very much for that wonderful amount of information, and thanks for the terrific job you've done and will continue to do. It's much appreciated. Thank you. I'm sorry if I'm a little hoarse here, but I've been speaking so much tonight to so many friends and people here in the community. It's just a joy and delighted to be here. But isn't it amazing that what you can do with technology? I absolutely want to please request a huge round of applause for our video producers and Somerville's own Davis Square husband and wife team, Neil Bastis and Julia Cruz from Good Life Productions. Great job. Neil and Julia right here. And really, none of this would be possible without the love and support from your family. The only way possible for me to have achieved anything was due to, really, the love of my life, my wife, Gail, who's put up with the endless nights of meetings and constant interruptions that occurred fleeting over the years. She's here tonight with two of my three daughters, Kim and Carolyn, while daughter Kerry is out of town. Absolutely. She and many women here tonight should also be lifetime achievers for all they do in assisting a lot of us. Thank you once and all. Also here tonight, two of my three brothers, Paul, Joseph, my sister Marie, my cousin Nancy, and her mom, Doris O'Mara, retired Somerville school teacher. And we want to thank you for love and support, especially in the early years growing up here in Somerville, when, as you saw, it wasn't the place that it is now. Absolutely big time thank yous have to go out for Executive Director Steve Mackey, Joanne Haley, Kevin Gatlin, Rod Lorenz, and the entire chamber team put this together, and for the honor of joining the ranks of such previous Somerville Chamber of Commerce Award winners like my friend and longtime Somervillian, Winter Hill Bank President Sandra McGoldrick, and Mayor Gene Brune. And please, no disrespect, Mayor Joe, Mayor Dorothy, but Gene Brune was the best mayor the city have had because he dug us out of the red and helped put us on the map and helped put the red line in Davis Square. Working together, he gave us the impetus to go where we are now. Thank you, Gene Brune. And really, a special thanks to my longtime friend and colleague, Jim Byrne, like Gene and Sandra, another Somerville native who's gone on to distinguish himself in both the insurance industry, and he was quite a star basketball and baseball player, and as a basketball referee. Jim has been a teammate and officiating colleague of mine for well over 40 years, and like me, he's still out there blowing the whistle at high schools and colleges all over New England. He's here tonight with his wife, Kathy. Jim, thank you. Great job in the video. And certainly, last but not least, Gramagat, which is thank you in Irish, to Don Morrissey, who, with us all working together as part of our film festival team, has brought the Irish Film Festival to Davis Square annually each March. And we bring literally thousands of patrons to enjoy the best films of the Irish nation to our beloved and treasured Somerville Theater. Check us out on the website, irishfilmfestival.com. I have the opportunity, I'm going to help sell that, Don, no question. And a special thanks and extreme gratitude to all my friends and colleagues in the insurance industry, most especially my WCC team, Kim, Mary, Eduardo, and Wendy, for all the work you've done day in, day out. The only thing I can say is surround yourself with good people and get the hell out of the way. Also, thanks to all my insurance colleagues, not only in the city, but the Independent Agents Association all over Massachusetts, all who strive to live up to what President Kennedy remarked about us some years ago, and I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. I can think of no more effective agents in advancing our freedom to live as we choose than the insurance agents. These individuals know the economic pulse of the country as few may, for they walk all the streets of American life. They talk to youth, the mature, and to the elderly. They know their wants. They help them all to help themselves in times of need. They build, and for they help others to build. They ensure the future. They are respected, and they are our friends. I hope to have lived up to those words, and that I'll continue to earn your respect and friendship, because I ain't done yet. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I want to say a special thanks to my former colleagues in government who are here this evening for all the work and time that we've spent together. We've done some worthwhile things, and as I said, there's still a lot more to be done. Well, the night's getting long, and we've talked about a few things Irish tonight, so I'm going to finish with an old Gaelic blessing. So, may those who love us, and those who don't love us, may God turn their hearts. And if he doesn't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles, so we'll know them by their limping. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for this great honor. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Jack. Tough act to follow. If I could just impose on all the award recipients this evening, Mayor Joe and Treasurer Goldberg, if we can hang on for just a couple minutes after the dinner, if we could just do a quick photo op with everybody, that would be really appreciated. Beyond that, I just want to extend thanks to Luke Harrier and Jim Harvey and all the crew of the Holiday Inn for another fabulous evening and of distinctive hospitality. Nothing but class year after year after year. Thank all of you for joining us tonight. Thank you for doing what you do. Be safe. Good night. Thank you.